Hi, most people have heard of the idea that there is a missing link between man and apes. Jazz Duets believes also there is a missing link between the major and minor arpeggios in music, and the video you are watching seeks to offer at least some kind of remedy for this. Traditionally, the music student is taught major and minor arpeggios as totally isolated concepts. The major arpeggio is a happy sound, and the minor a sad one. And that is it, closed book, all you need to know, sufficient to pass the exam. But wait a minute! What about the newcomer to music who is interested in the exotic sounds of jazz and blues? Where will he or she, just starting out, find these alluring, evocative sounds heard in the classics? The inquisitive student will be frustrated if they look for these colourful jazzy musical sounds in the major or regular minor, as they are not there. I would argue that the two sound flavours of major and minor, even though essential to know, are however just too limiting for people who are looking for the unusual and exotic sounds of jazz and blues. I humbly suggest another arpeggio could be practiced alongside the major and minor from the very beginning, which I call the Blues Arpeggio. Here it is in C. You can see it contains both the major and minor thirds, so it can be thought of as the two arpeggios summed together, major and minor. As well, in that way perhaps it is easier to remember. Personally, I like to practice it like this, with the minor third descending, preceding the major third, so it is not symmetrical. Here it is on the sax in 2 octaves a bit faster. The juxtaposition of these two sound worlds, if you like, the major and minor, contrasted, I would argue, is perhaps one of the most fundamental elements or ingredients of the blues, as well as the microtones between them. Here is the blues arpeggio around the cycle of fifths or fourths, if you prefer, played rubato as a warm-up. And here is a wider version that is also agreeable as a warm-up. Let's now hear this C blues arpeggiated, supported with some chords. Firstly, just C triad to C minor triad. A strident sound that, from major to minor, but not very bluesy. Another way to harmonize this blues arpeggio would be the 1 chord to the 4-7 chord, C to F7. Let's see what that sounds like. Let's now hear this blues arpeggio played on a blues, changing the arpeggio respectively with each chord. So on the C, we will play these notes. On the F chord, these notes of that blues arpeggio. And on the G chord, play the G blues arpeggio. Okay, so now I'm going to noodle around on these notes and see what I can come up with. I think a terrifically comprehensive exercise is to play the blues arpeggio on the cycle, starting on different degrees, but sticking to just the 4 notes of each successive blues arpeggio. In this first example, I start playing the blues arpeggio from the root note on each successive chord. After I play the arpeggio, I improvise something, but stick solely with the blues arpeggio notes. Also, in the exercises that follow, I vary where I start and stop the phrases so as to keep the exercises fun and alive. In the next example, I start on the root going down. You will see some of the lines are anticipated, which adds fun to the proceedings. Now we start on the flattened third and ascend. Guys, do you see what's happening? On every chord now, we start on the flattened third of the blues arpeggio and then improvise something to follow. So on C, that is E flat. On F, the flat third is A flat, and on B flat, that would be D flat. This is a bit religious and square. We are never going to play like this in real life. It would be robotic and soulless. But it forces you to play something you otherwise might not have come up with, that you might even dig. Next, I start on the flattened third, going down this time, but via the major third. With just 4 notes available, I try to vary the rhythm and phrasing as much as possible to keep things alive. It's like making a meal with just 4 ingredients. A challenge, I would say. Next, we'll start on the major third of each chord, this time going up and down. Next up, we start the phrases on the 5th degree. And to conclude the examples, the blues arpeggio around the cycle in a freer manner, starting on the degree of my choice. 2, 3, 4. A PDF of the exercises on the blues arpeggio is available at jazzduets.com for the price of a cup of coffee, the purchase of which helps to support future content. Thanks for watching. Cheers.